Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webcast. I'm Despina, marketing team lead at Fieldcode, and I'm joined by Michael Hodder, our content manager, and Sofia Meze, product and UX team leader. I will be moderating this webcast. Michael will take us through the release notes for the month, covering the latest updates and enhancements, and Sophia will be joining us on stage for the Q&A part at the end of this presentation. So please feel free to post your questions in the chat at any point. So thank you once again for joining us today. And as far as I can see, we have most attendees in. So I will now hand over the stage to Michael.
Thanks, Des. All right, let's just jump right in. So you may have already seen we have the release notes released here. Um, Today we're going to start off with the FMA. So to do that, I will show you the FMA. We have updated both applications. The first one is a new thing we call quick actions for parts. Simply when you're looking at the parts page here in both apps, you make your way to the parts section. And we now have quick actions for parts. Before you had to click into the side of the part to access the buttons to change it, the status of it. Now you can simply slide left on the parts screen and select the status you need. In this case, we'll select received and simply click received as always before and save it, and now it's received. On the Apple version, same difference, slide to the left, pick your status you want, choose received, same as before, select received, hit done. And now both parts have been updated with the new status. Um, cool. So one thing you also notice here is when you click inside them, we have moved the buttons above the status. Before we had the status above the buttons, but it was not very consistent with the ticket overview. So we wanted the parts overview to be similar to the ticket overview with all the buttons at the top and the rest of the fields below the buttons. So we did that for you here. We've also condensed the part screen to see more details at once. Also similar, when you go back to the ticket overview, we have increased the screen space. We got rid of unnecessary big bolded text referring to the appointment, which you still see at the top, much smaller, much more condensed. So you see more on the screen, utilizing all the real estate we have available for the engineer to see all the information they need. Leading us into our next one, which is, as you might notice, the device area. We now display the device model and the device serial number at a glance on the overview page of the ticket, so that the engineer does no longer have to click inside the device information to see the model number and the status. But if he does, we have also improved that as well to show the model and serial number at the top of the device details, including all the relevant fields that are filled out as well. So increased real estate in the overview page, increased the device section showing the model number and serial number, parts quick action overview. We also have some more love for the FMA app, and that refers to the attachments area, where you can now, as you can see, we now have a camera icon here in the Android version. Simply click on the camera and you can take an image directly from your phone without having to access your camera on your phone. And then coming back to the application to connect it, to attach it to this ticket here. So it's that simple. Same with iOS. Click on Add File, click on Camera, take your picture, use Photo, and it saves directly to the FMA without having to go to your gallery and picking the images you need. So that's for FMA for now. Let's jump into, excuse me, let's jump back into the application itself. We're going to make our way to the admin panel where we introduce a new ticket scoring. We updated the ticket scoring to include dynamic conditions. What are dynamic conditions? Dynamic conditions contain all the date, time conditions needed for filtering. So we converted the filtering section to a static conditions, and we created dynamic conditions which hold all the date, time conditions. Excuse me. So you have to have one static condition in order to create dynamic conditions. So in this case, we have the score point at 50 if the company equals ABC company. So that will always work. And once you have the static, you can create your dynamic. In this case, we have LSTT. First, let me go through the fields. So we removed all the formatted datetime fields and the 12-hour datetime fields because now you can create your own whatever times you need. So we removed those ones. So now we have the appointment dispatch to and from, the appointment fixed date to and from, the intervention end and start, and the LSTT field. In this scenario, I'm going to use the LSTT field as dynamic condition. So if the LSTT is less than 3 days away, we're going to add 70 points. And if the LSTT is less than 1 day away, we're going to add 100 points. So let's see that in action. I have this set up already. So you see here, this ticket, for instance, is the LSTT is on Friday. So that's over 3 days away and over 1 day away. So only one of those are true. And that is the initial static condition is true. So 50 points for ABC Company. You see here, this is ABC Company, but the LST ones are not true. In our next case here, LST is tomorrow at 12. So both of these conditions are true. It's 3 days away and 1 day away. So we're adding up all the scores, 50 plus 70 plus 100. So let's just show an example here. If this is, let's say 5 days, I'm going to set that to 5 days away. So if now plus 5 days away, it should trigger this one here, right? Because now it should be 5 days away. It's going to trick it real quick, just mess with the ticket, and then it'll add, boom, 120. So now this one is 120 points because the initial static condition is true, 50 points, plus this one is true, so 70 plus 50 is 120, and this one is still false, so it's not adding the 100. So these first two are true, and this one is false. So this one is 120, and this one is 220, because all three are true, and this one only two are true. Have fun with dynamic conditions. As mentioned, all the datetime fields are there. I must mention that if there were other, before the release, if there were datetime fields used for your ticket scoring, those have been converted to static conditions, uneditable static conditions. The datetime fields should still work. We also recommend you can recreate those using the dynamic conditions and then setting that old rules inactive. But nothing should break. All right, cool. Next one is, let me go here, optimizable field. So you'll notice here we have a new field here, optimizable. So at a glance, your dispatchers can see that this ticket is optimizable. Um, that's one thing. Now, any ticket that's coming in through a system connection, you can use this field as well. Or for your forms, you can use this field. We'll go into forms in a minute. The form, you can add the optimizable field to the form to create tickets manually as non-optimizable. Um, but let's first go into here. So we have the optimizable field here. You notice there's some interactivity here. You can, per ticket, on a per ticket basis, make it non-optimizable. You'll see here, you'll see the ticket is updating, and you'll see here in a second, there we go. We have a new icon for when the ticket is not optimizable, which leads us to query building as well. We also include a new query, optimizable equals false. You can simply search for all non-optimizable tickets. You can search for optimizable ones as well, but you're going to get all the tickets that are not. So uh, false, optimizable equals false, and you have your query. Let me show you the forms section. So if we make our way to forms, I'm already there. So you'll find the optimizable field in the ticket category section, optimizable. And you'll see I already have it in use here. So I have other ticket settings where I set test ticket, and then this one here where I set optimizable. So by default, every ticket is set to yes. What does it look like in the form? Simply as you think it would. Make your way to the form, and now you have this, and you can set it to no. So this ticket, as you create it, will be set to not optimizable once created. Very cool stuff. And more optimizable topic, we have created for you an alias that you can use in your automated actions. Actually, let me just go to this one real quick. So we have an alias here now is optimizable. Um, you can use this as you need it for all your automated actions. All right. Staying in the admin panel, we have updated again with forms, except this is referring to fields within forms. You may notice here a new icon. This icon is referring to a validation. When you see this icon on a field, that means there's validation part of that field. Most of these have the validation because we have system validations already in the field. So let's go show you an example. And I'm going to use asset tag. You see this already has a system validation there, and you can see that here. So system validation, this one is value is whatever that means, right? So maximum 50 characters allowed. So this accepts regular expressions. You're going to need this value equals with the quotations. Inside those quotations, you need to add your regular expression for your validations to work. So how does that work? Let's create one. Create new validation. This is going to be the asset tag check. And what I want to happen for the asset tag is all my asset tags for this project must start with capitalized AT and end with a hashtag. So we're going to include the regular expression for that. I have my value equals and my regular expression in the quotations. So this is capital AT and to start with a capital AT and end with a hashtag. So let's see that in action. Make your way to the workplace. Open your create ticket form. This is for Project Blue. And make our way to the asset tag. So you see if I just put in anything and try to click out, but nope, it's not going to let me. Validation set. It must start with AT and end with the hashtag. So if I add here capitalize AT and end it with my hashtag, everything's good. And now I can move on and save it. So that is validations for fields. All right, going back to the admin panel, we have shown some love here to users for on-call duties. When you have on-call duties before, you can create on-call duties for one whole working day, and you couldn't create on-call duties where there was working hours for the user. We have removed the 24-hour limitation, meaning you can create multi-day on-call duties. So if you want to create an on-call duty for the whole week or for a whole month, you can do that. And we removed with the conflicts of working hours. So you see the working hours here. He's Monday through Friday, 7 to 1900. So we can now create an on-call duty. In this case, he's going to be on duty from, let's say, the 20th of December on a Wednesday to New Year's Day. And before you couldn't save this, now you can save it. And as you already know, I started on a Wednesday, which conflicts with his working hours, and you can do that. We're not going to restrict you no more. If you want to create on-call duties for multiple days, you want to create it over working hours, have fun. And you save it, and now these on-call duties are now saved. And the final improvement here we have for projects, we've added more columns. As you may know, we have much more checks now in the project. We now have the columns showing for that. I can show you quicker here in the notes. So we've added these new columns: overwrite ticket duration, strike count attempts, waiting duration, adjusted shipment, storage time, and parts ETA. So now all your admin personnel at a glance can see which projects have these fields active or in fact active for the project at hand. So that is very good. All right, seems we don't have any questions. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michael. Indeed, we don't have any questions, but of course, feel free to post any at any point. Sophia, thank you as well for joining us. And thank you, everybody who joined today. You are welcome to visit our manual for a detailed overview of the release notes that Michael went through today. So feel free to click on the prompt at the bottom of your screen. Stay tuned for the next one. We will be announcing it around mid-December, and of course, we will be sending you the invitation. So thank you, and have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye.